This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Rachel Consultant standing by. We'll take caller 9-844-999. Ola to play profile this in minutes. And we do have your headlines on the way 1 hour from now. First, quick check into Mike Hawk for some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, a police officer in Washington busted a couple having sex in their car in a Walmart parking lot. And it turned out that the woman had a warrant. Both of them had been banned from Walmart properties, and they had heroin and meth in the car.
Oh, man, they had a whole freaking drug lab in their car.
And they let them search.
Yeah, they had a safe in their car, they had drugs in their car, they had cash in their car.
But
yeah.
they didn't have drugs in the safe.
Mm-hmm. But the reason they got busted was because they were having sex in the parking lot. Not only that, they were kicked out of that Walmart and weren't supposed to be there.
Exactly.
Jesus.
Well, technically, they weren't in the Walmart.
Right.
Hashtag living on the edge.
They weren't even supposed to be on the property. So
Yeah,
if you're not supposed to be on the property, and they've already called you out once for it, don't go there to have sex with all the drugs in your car.
Agreed.
You know?
Does say they're both facing a ton of charges.
I bet they are.
Yeah. If they just would have had sex anywhere else, go to a tire store, like anything.
Exactly.
Just not Walmart.
Literally anywhere.
I like having sex in tire stores.
Busted somewhere, like, you know, like that's what they do with a commercial, right? You throw the football through the tire.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Might as well
Yeah.
just do it there.
Sounds like they were rolling back their drawers.
I thought that's what they were talking about. If you see a tire, you'll get turned on.
got
No,
Walmart
that's
jokes,
not it.
Ted.
Like, I mean, they can't put these charges on layaway.
Damn it. There's a high school in San Diego with an automotive program where kids can learn to be mechanics.
All right.
And they recently did a bunch of body work on a 2014 Mazda that was all dinged up. Then on Monday, they gave it to a very deserving lunch lady who also volunteers by driving around and handing out food to the homeless.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's nice.
Very cool.
That's your feel-good story of the day. No more.
Okay.
There's a new ketchup out that's based on Nickelodeon's green slime.
Oh, good.
It even tastes like normal ketchup, only it's bright green.
Heinz did that about 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, we've been
had,
through this.
They had a line of ketchups that were just different colors based on whatever. They had
They had,
purple.
I only remembered the purple.
Oh, man, I can't.
They
Maybe
did
they had a
green
blue.
as well.
They might have done green. They definitely didn't do yellow because that was with mustard. It'd be like mustard on mustard, but it was weird when you saw it and then you tasted it because in the context of what you're seeing,
It
you don't
did taste
expect
different.
You don't expect. No, it tasted like ketchup. You just don't expect it to.
No, it tasted different. The purple one tasted different. I know this.
No, it did not.
I hated having the purple on my burger. I needed the real ketchup.
Are you sure it tasted different, man?
It absolutely tasted different.
I think that was all psychological.
Well, maybe. I was 5. Here's the most fun.
The waves were bigger then and the snow was deeper because you were 3 feet tall. We
I just
understand.
still like it was called Easy Squirt.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to name my kid.
Oh, no.
This is Easy Squirt.
I was thinking,
Yeah.
chill out, girl. Just having me an Easy Squirt.
I'll be right back. Don't give me an easy squirt.
A new survey found the most popular flavors of ice cream in America. And I hate the top one.
Vanilla.
Cookies and cream?
Cookies and cream are on there. Vanilla's on there.
I like vanilla.
French vanilla.
Nah.
Chocolate.
Butter pecan, chocolate, but nobody's hit the number 1 yet.
Rocky Road?
It's basically frozen toothpaste, mint chocolate chip.
Oh.
Frozen.
Wow. You don't like that?
I hate it.
I'm not a big fan of it.
No.
It's not that it's not my favorite. It's not that there's anything wrong with it.
There's something
It's just
completely wrong with it.
it's
I
not-
brush my teeth with that. I
it's
don't
not-
eat it.
It's not better than everything else.
You know what? I'm with you, dude. Mint should be mint.
That's right.
I don't
Hold
want
on.
mint flavored
You
stuff.
get a good scoop of vanilla ice cream, right?
Yeah.
You actually get 2 leaves from a mint
No.
and put it in your ice cream and actually have mint with the ice cream and chew the leaves.
You actually eat the leaves when you eat ice cream?
If you actually use real mint like you're supposed
No,
to.
that's what I'm saying. I pull it out.
Ice cream
throw it
was
on the
originally
side of
served
the-
with mint.
Well,
Inside
I'm
of it,
sure.
that was the original garnish.
It's probably served with botulism too, man.
When you
but-
have ice
for
cream,
your breath, man, not for your enjoyment.
But that was part of it. At the end, it was supposed to be like the end of your meal. You're
Right.
supposed to have peppermint and you're supposed to have ice cream with it.
I always thought those were vanilla leaves.
Sherbet is the same way. You're supposed to have mint with it. I mean, traditionally. Not that anyone does that.
If your boss offered you a promotion that didn't come with a raise, would you still take it?
More work for no less pay? Most people do that, don't they?
Yeah, because I think your belief is that it'll catch up, right?
Yeah.
No.
64% of us.
Of course.
According to a new survey, 64% of us would, up from 55% in 2011.
Okay.
Have you ever called in sick because you were hungover?
No, not for
Actually,
a
we
hangover.
haven't. No.
A new
Man
study
up.
a new study found moderate drinkers usually use fewer sick days than people who don't drink at all.
I believe that.
But they gave a different reason. They said something like people that are chronically sick might just drink less. My theory was if you wake up with a hangover, most people I know you know it's on you, it's your own fault, and you fight through it, and you go to work, right? Yeah, that's not a good enough excuse, but this is just my philosophy. And once you've done that a few times, I might have some experience with this, you just know how to deal with feeling like crap and getting up and getting on with the day.
Yeah, that's
I think
right.
some of the hangovers, too, like if you're hungover, you're just like, I shouldn't have done that. But, like, there's something inside you that says, I can't call out for this.
I can't call out
I've
for it.
definitely had that one where, like, 2 days later, I was like, oh, man, I am sick.
But here's the thing, too. If you go out and you get hammered, okay, you put that hangover on you.
Yeah.
Which means that's on you.
Yeah.
Which means you can man up and put that on yourself and go into work, all right?
Exactly.
If you get sick, that's not on you.
No.
But it is not as bad as that hangover. So it's easier, and you still go to work like, dude, if I go to work as hungover as I was yesterday, this cold is nothing.
That's exactly it.
I mean,
man.
that's really it.
The hot trend in cocktails is using a little blossom called a buzz button.
Buzz button.
That makes your mouth numb.
Numb?
It makes your mouth numb.
So you can't taste what you're drinking?
We had that in Vegas. Do
We
you
did?
remember? Didn't we go try
you
that?
think I remember that? What did,
Oh, okay, good
What
point.
did we
yeah,
have?
that's a good point.
Do you remember the lamb burger?
There's a cocktail. If you go to the Cosmopolitan in Vegas, there's like a specific bar in there in the casino, and you can get a drink with that in it. It is.
Did you have it?
awesome.
Did I
yeah,
like
it's
it?
really cool.
Did I drink it?
So you
like it?
chew up.
Who
It looks
ordered
like I did. It looks like a piece of dandelion almost on top.
All right.
And you put that in your mouth.
Oh, yeah,
you chew it
yeah.
up as fast
And
as
you
you
saw
can.
you drank
yeah.
it?
I did not, but we were disappointed because they didn't have the dumplings we wanted. But one of the drinks they gave you had that, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Okay, I
was
remember that.
really good.
But does it... If
Come
your
from-
mouth's numb,
So
how
it
do you
makes your
taste
mouth
it?
kind of numb, and so when you sip the cocktail, it makes it almost taste like it's fizzy because of that numbing feeling. It's weird.
28% of millennials in a new poll said that they prefer drinking at home because it, quote, takes too much effort to go out.
Cheaper?
Well, they
That's
live in a
exactly
different
what
world,
I thought,
man.
Ted. It's
Yeah.
cheaper, man.
Well, they also, but they
sure.
grew up in a world where you can be home alone and have access and everything.
Yeah.
You can still put on your computer. You can do stuff. I mean, like with us. all
Old
you-
people like to talk to each other in person, like back in the old days.
So we can yell at each other because
Yeah.
our hearing is bad.
We don't want to talk to a screen.
Some people are just bar people, too.
True.
We're
Like, I
absolutely
mean, I have
bar
one buddy,
people,
right?
What do
Like
you
you guys, I have one. Like I don't mind drinking around the house, but I have a buddy. We go through this all the time. We gotta go to a bar. Like, no, we don't.
I don't mind drinking around the house at all, but you're right. I'm a bar person.
Yeah.
That is my go-to.
Me too.
Ted's worst nightmare. A woman in Virginia was recently driving her car when a snake slithered out one of the air vents.
Not just a snake. It was like a cobra, wasn't it?
I'm not working on it, so I don't know what it was.
Virginia?
I think it was a really weird snake, man. I think it
those
was like an
domestic
exotic-
Virginian
I thought-
cobras.
I don't know. For some reason, I thought maybe that's a different story. Sorry, but I thought even more about the crazy part of the snake was the type of snake it was. Like, how did this end up happening?
I think you might be right. Yes.
Yeah.
A man in England climbed a tree to catch his pet parrot last week and had to be rescued by firefighters.
Did he get his parrot at least?
I have no idea. I'm not working on it.
See, again-
My guess is no. If he's got to be rescued, he's not holding on to a bird.
You're a firefighter. They show up in all this gear, and here's your dumb ass up there in the tree with a parrot.
A woman in the UK didn't want to deal with a spider in her house, so who do you think she called?
Who'd you call?
Ghostbusters.
I'll tell you all about it 1 hour from now.
Thank you, Mike Hawk. Headlines are on the way 1 hour from now. First, the game is...
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Steve Thrill, can you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes a story a story. Hello, Nick. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola! All right, Slick Nick, you understand how this here game is played.
I do. I played it yesterday. It's time to redeem myself.
Jesus, Big Nick. All right, good
Big
luck.
Nick. All right, here is the story. Just know one man is dead, another guy's under arrest. This after a hit-and-run crash in Boston. Now, Boston police say that a man in his 80s was crossing the street when a car hit him and then continued driving. The man, who has not yet been identified, he was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The suspect, this particular incident, a 23-year-old, he confessed that he did leave the scene after hitting the man, and then he said, and I quote, "I was listening to my music and I was driving too quick. I was driving too quick to the point where I couldn't really stop, and it was a green light. As the guy was walking, the light was green. I'm driving and pressing the horn, beep, beep. It was either I was going to die and crash into a pole. When it came down to it, accidents happen." This is what he says. Now, the suspect, however, said that he's making no apologies for what happened. Again, we quote, "Right now, I'm not worried about it. I'm not a stone-cold killer. I didn't do nothing on purpose. People hit and run people all the time. It just happened to be an unfortunate situation where I was driving. Now, police say the victim was in the crosswalk, but the suspect stands behind his decision to keep driving even after he hit the man in broad daylight. He does say, well, I was worried about the guy. Wasn't sure what would happen. I just said, I hope he's okay. Do you believe that this remorseless driver is black, white, Mexi, or Asian?
Torn between white and Asian. What do you guys think?
Where'd you say it was?
It's in Boston.
Man.
Nick,
I don't know.
I read the story this morning, so I can't help you on this one today.
That could be anybody in Boston.
I mean, it's a hit and run. And the guy's like, yeah, I did it.
He said, look, I was driving too fast.
And I couldn't
at
stop.
a high rate of speed, and I just said, the hell with it. I honked you out of the way, and I didn't want to swerve, so I just ran his ass over. Basically what he said.
Right. But then kept going.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. Like, right.
It doesn't care. Accidents happen.
Accidents happen all the time. That's what he said. He's right, but still.
All right, Nick, what do you think?
Driving fast, listening to loud music.
I gotta say, man, I've driven with a lot of people in Boston. They were all white people, and they all drove really fast.
Everyone in Boston drives fast.
Yeah, and there's some tight streets.
Okay. What do you think, Nick?
I want to say white, but I'm usually wrong, so I'm going to go black.
Final answer?
Final answer.
We're going to find out if he was black, white, Mexican, or Asian next.
That was a tease.
You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Profile this takes us to Boston, and we have a hit-and-run guy who basically mowed down an 80-year-old man in a crosswalk. Now, granted, the light was green.
Yeah.
And the driver does admit that he was speeding. But he said, look, man, what do you want me to do? Swerve and miss this guy and hit a pole and kill myself? Or I'm just going to run him over. I beeped a few times, and he didn't get out of the way, and he ran him over and then just basically kept on driving because he figured, well, it's the best thing to do. And he basically has no guilt about the whole thing.
No,
it's just like, hey, man, accidents happen, and I killed the guy.
And this was one of them.
Sorry, man.
So, yes, you, Nick, did you believe this guy was black, white, Mexican, or Asian? At first you said white, but you said, look, you've been on a losing streak lately. So you're going to go the opposite and go black, which is a stupid theory. But you are correct.
All right. Very good, Nick. Very good. Nick, you win the grand prize. Absolutely nothing. Now for all the TV news all the time, and it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon.
The Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
I'm bald. You can look at me.
Do we go to break there?
I know, like,
I'm bald.
Hi, I'm bald.
I feel like, hi, Ted.
My name is Ted, and I'm bald. So, if you're in the bald side of life,
I am.
Right. You hear some jokes, you hear some snickers.
Yep.
People with hair, like they're out there doing stuff, this and that, right? And
Fans on them all the time. The wind's blowing through their hair.
Yeah, they're jumping in and out of pools. They're flipping it around down at the river. Like they're doing hair stuff, right? Aha. But
conditioning.
Sometimes great flow, which is what I like calling great hair underneath the helmet, great flow comes at a price, as Bryce Harper learned.
Going for two. Oh, my gosh, his slide stopped way short of the bag, and then he got up and still got in there. That was unusual. Did he trip and then just slid early because of it?
He tripped on his helmet coming off and hit his back foot and basically knocked him to the ground. So usually when he hits that helmet, he keeps going, but watch the helmet come off and trip him. So good hustle by Bryce right here. Helmet hits his leg, that trips him. And then he still gets in there, and we hope he's okay.
First of all, they ended up reviewing the play, and he was out at second base. Second, it's hard to, when you listen to that, it's hard to explain it, but just go to the Men's Room Facebook page.
Was he
look up the video. So he rips a hit, right?
All right.
And as he's crossing, as he's turning first, right? He basically the helmet just kind of flies off. The man has a lot of hair under there.
Just saying the hair.
So the helmet, as it falls off the back, right? Generally, it just falls off and the guy keeps running. But on one of his like kickbacks on his foot, like it hits his heel and trips him. So then it looked like he slid just like 4 feet before the base.
Oh, okay.
That's a good look.
Yeah, like Willie Mays Hayes the first time.
Jesus.
Right? So he that's how they're like, and he slides really early and then still touches the bag.
Yeah, that's unusual.
Yeah, right. That's why I love the way that guy said that too. That is unusual. But yeah, I mean, with that said, I'd have Bryce Harper's hair if he'd let me have it.
Ted, you only played that was pure bitterness. That was pure bald bitterness.
Yeah.
Yeah, look what happens when you have too much hair.
It was. Yeah, take that, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Let's stick with a little sports here. As we know, the NBA Finals have been going on, and it's the same teams over and over. And Jimmy Kimmel keeps having fun with them.
Warriors have been unstoppable. It's almost as if their strategy of having all the best players in the league is paying off. The Cavs are down, but J.R. Smith isn't worried. J.R. Smith thinks the series is best of 11, so he's... Even if the Warriors win, LeBron James is still the most valuable player. I mean, the Cavaliers, without him, they're not really even a basketball team. They're just a group of guys who shower together and wear matching outfits.
He's right.
Yeah.
He is, but, I got to say this. LeBron started this. Like, when he went to Miami and picked two other, all-stars to come with him. Like, he kind of started the trend of making, like the players just be like, all right, let's go there and make a super team, right?
But he didn't do what he did in Cleveland, which is, I'm just going to go back home, and it's just going to be me against the world.
Right.
So, no one picked up on that.
Sorry, man, but you're wrong. You got to remember, Kevin Love, when he brought him over, Kevin Love was a highly, perennial all-star. Everybody wanted him, right? Like, I'm pretty sure Golden State almost tried to get him. And also with Golden State, remember, Steph Curry, you knew him from NCAA, from Davidson for having a hot tournament, but, those names that we know now on Golden State weren't those names. No. Now, adding Kevin Durant once they got good is another. But I'm just saying, it's weird to me that people are like, well, LeBron LeBron that's. Well, LeBron started. I mean,
so
look, I'm fine with it. But
he picked the wrong team. He was the captain who picked the wrong team.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Damn it, I should have taken it.
He did it right the first time. He did a horrible job the second time.
Yeah.
Well, not horrible.
No,
Keep in mind.
they won one.
But I'm just saying, he did this. People forget, he did this to Dirk Nowitzki. When Dirk was at the Mavericks and they made it to the finals, it was basically Dirk and a bunch of dudes. So LeBron came through with Chris Bosh, D. Wade. So, I mean, he's been on the other side of this. Yeah, right. Then a year later, they bring Ray Allen down there. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just been kind of amazing to me.
Dirk with a bunch of dudes. I just love that
Dirk
description.
and the dudes in Dallas.
Dirk and a bunch of dudes.
It's not fair to LeBron. And granted, I get LeBron's greatness, but I think it's fair to him.
Look, man,
and
trust me, in the finals.
Now, here's my one thing. If he leaves Cleveland, which I believe he will, I think he's going to go to the Lakers. There's already rumors out there. But if he goes to Golden State, I don't know if there'd even be a point of watching the.
Why would you even do?
He's not going to Golden
State. I think the NBA at that point would have to be like, all right, enough.
He's going to go to Houston. He'll go to the 76ers.
Say it's unfair.
He'll go to a
when you're
team.
that good. Even if you win, right? I mean, if they swept Golden State, which obviously they won't, but if you, it's still quote unquote unfair to LeBron because his talent compared to most other people. But he's with the supporting cast that went to the finals, and people still think something unfair is happening.
Right?
He's in the final, but they're playing like a dream team.
The only thing that we need here is the NBA playoffs were very, very good. They were very, very competitive with all the teams. We're just witnessing just not a very good finals.
Yeah, well, I mean, look,
that's all it is.
A couple of the games, game one was good.
It was a good game.
Smith couldn't remember
he just didn't know what time it was.
Right. So, I mean, the games have been all right. Look, there's only certain things you do. I've been saying this all day, but Kevin Durant is almost 7 feet tall. Mm-hmm. He could shoot the daylights out of the gym. He can also post up and play like a big man, and then he has handles. I just don't know if that man is guardable, period, in the NBA. Mm-hmm. There's just not a lot of 7-footers that can keep up with him. So, but he is a stud, man. God, that was ruthless. All right.
So you wouldn't have taken Odom? I'm just kidding.
I forget not Lamar Odom. Greg Oden was the first pick of that draft.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Not only that, a lot of people didn't like Kevin Durant because he was so scrawny.
Mm-hmm.
Last time
He's so wrong.
Right. Last time I checked, though, you don't need to be a muscle man to shoot a basketball. And
that's correct.
And, man, that dude could shoot. Samantha Bee. You know her from originally Comedy Central. Samantha Bee started out, I want to say, on The Daily Show.
I think so.
So her show, Full Frontal, the last week, you've heard a lot of stuff about it. She used a vulgar term when talking to the president's daughter. So Samantha Bee came back out this week, and she had an apology.
Hi, I'm Samantha Bee. You know, a lot of people were offended and angry that I used an epithet to describe the president's daughter and advisor last week. It is a word I have used on the show many times, hoping to reclaim it. This time, I used it as an insult. I crossed the line. I regret it, and I do apologize for that. The problem is that many women have heard that word at the worst moments of their lives. A lot of them don't want that word reclaimed. They want it gone. And I don't blame them. I don't want to inflict more pain on them. I want this show to be challenging, and I want it to be honest, but I never intended it to hurt anyone except Ted Cruz. Many men were also offended by my use of the word. I do not care about that. I'm really sorry that I said that word, but you know what? Civility is just nice words. Maybe we should all worry a little bit more about the niceness of our actions. Thanks for listening.
TBS did add they're going to add a little more oversight to her show, but she's staying on the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like the apology. Got me laughing a couple times.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the thing I was going to say about sports, too. Like with the LeBron thing and everything else, like, you know, like the LeBron-Michael Jordan thing, like, these are kind of fun conversations, right?
But people get hostile.
I know, like, I would, you know, you could go as far as say, like this is like a barbershop conversation, right?
Yeah.
But you're right. But nowadays, people get pissed. And I think...
How can you say, well, 'cause that's their opinion?
Yeah. And I've said this before. I'll say it again. Trust me, I love sports, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I am fired up for sports probably 3 days a week.
You're in the cricket now, for Christ's sake.
Oh, man. My Kings aren't doing too hot. But, you know, at a certain level, like, you're still just, it's a fan, it's a sport, it should be a relaxing thing that we go watch, we enjoy, you know, it should be an escape from regular life. Like, you know, we don't need to be fist fighting and getting that heated about these things.
Over nothing.
Right? Now, something that will get you pissed off that I think is fair.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Here's something worth being mad about.
Yeah, so there's a lot of shows that have been rebooting. Been talking about rebooting shows for a year now. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? And Thrill, you said this to me the other day in the office. You said, "Hey, Ted,
shut your ugly face." Oh, not that quote. Okay.
No, you said, "Hey, Ted, why don't they reboot the trashy ones?" Good news, Thrill. They are.
Oh no!
Like what?
Well, MTV had some success with the Jersey Shore reboot. Oh, no. So, do you guys remember The Hills?
Not vaguely. I remember the name, but I don't know anything about
Spencer Pratt.
Yes.
Oh,
good call, Miles.
Okay.
He was brought to our attention. Heidi Maytag.
You know what? I followed
something like that.
I followed them religiously since that show was off the air. That's why I knew.
They're very interesting people.
Yeah, of course. LC, Lauren Conrad. This was all about.
I just saw Chris Pratt with Ben Affleck the other day, and I was like, "You go get it, boy." Just hanging out with Ben. I mean, like he's like you figure like who the hell would hang out with that guy? Like there you are with Ben Affleck.
Well, they're both superheroes.
Sure. Good point.
All right, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's probably a thing. Mm-hmm. The Hills also, I want to say that show started, Robin, I don't want to call you up. Do you remember, was it Laguna Beach? And then they changed it to like all the hills around Orange County and all they all started hanging out?
Someone with the last name Hill. I really hated that show.
Yeah.
Like, my family's nothing like that. We're not that pretty.
Yeah. Well, so they're talking about reboot. Us Magazine claim MTV singing about rebooting that.
So would they just bring the same people back?
Yeah, except I'm saying the one most famous girl, I think, was that Lauren Conrad girl, but she's not coming back because she basically just doesn't talk to anybody from the show or want to talk about the show.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Well, I think she's trying to, like, I'm a real actress now. I'm not just...
Oh,
that's why she's done so much. And
what else has she done? And I'm not cutting it down. Exactly. I don't know.
Like, and that's why. It's very important to maintain that integrity.
Well, I will say this. I think if you're trying to be taken seriously, dropping The Hills might help.
It could.
Maybe.
Well, and that was like a reality show, too. So they were just kind of like pretty rich teenagers that lived there.
Yeah, just the way I grew up, sure.
Yeah, me too.
Then I got ugly and went broke.
USA Network, though, is in advanced negotiations to reboot Temptation Island that used to be on Fox. This is the trash you were looking for.
Didn't it get canceled after a year? I thought that show was a massive flop.
But didn't they have an incident?
2001 to 2003.
Really?
2 years. If you don't remember...
So a show that only lasted 2 years, you feel that needs a reboot.
And this is just preying on some of the worst of humanity. This is a show that follows several couples who agree to live with a group of singles of the opposite sex on an exotic island in order to test the strength of their relationships.
In other words, pre-divorce.
Oh, that's not going to go well.
Yeah, they should just call this show Messy.
Oh, yeah. Hot mess.
Are they paying for the divorces?
Dude, I don't have that information.
Well,
so I'm not
you'd
sure.
hope they would. Like, you hope, at least, like, look, man, if you're going to put us in a position where we're not going to, like, if you're trying to break up the marriage and we're willing to sign up for it, probably not the best marriage in the first place. But at the same point in time, like, all right, man, if we do this, you will hook us up, right?
Well, here's the other thing, too. If you go on Temptation Island and you... Like, there's no secret hooking up. Like, it's Temptation Island. Like, the cameras are going to be there. They want to see you.
I would watch
cheating.
that show if it were couples that have been married for at least 35 years, right?
Yeah.
So it's like either they absolutely love each other, there's no temptation, or they're just like, I hate this bitch. I'm so tired of her.
Yeah, and obviously they're setting it up better, right?
Well,
it's not
sure.
Like,
You're not going to have
think,
ugly people tempting you.
Right, and most couples hang out with a bunch of other single people. So, I mean, it's not like we're all living at Temptation Island all the time.
Yeah, but generally if you hang out with single people, they're not setting you up like, I'm going to F your wife tonight.
Right, that's what I'm saying. This show, right, they obviously set the intent of like, oh, Miles, I heard you like, well, I don't know. Maybe for me, like, oh, I heard you like blondes with big boobs. Well, here's 3.
I think
right, like they're going to set whatever girl you want. She's going to be there.
Not only that, but they're going to make that person hit on you to make the temptation happen. It's not going to happen naturally. It's going to happen scripted.
The smartest couple that'll ever go on that show goes, babe, look, we've been having a lot of problems. We're going different directions. We know we're headed for divorce.
Let's go get some ass. Let's go get some ass.
Let's go get some ass.
You do what you do. I do what I do, man.
Let's
and
have
at least,
fun.
man, we'll be on TV.
It's
By
on
the
the
time we
house.
get out of here, we'll be famous. We can have sex with other people. Sweet.
I think the weirdest thing is when Temptation Island, the way you win it in the end is a snake comes out and gives you an apple. We got no Bible jokes?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean...
Sorry, we're born with original sin.
The snake didn't give her the apple, did he?
They
Hey, man,
voluntarily signed up.
He said,
an
eat
apple.
it. He's like, eat that apple.
But to be fair...
Eat the apple.
I don't feel like
quote.
we should be punished for that.
Right.
I feel like Eve was kind of dumb. Like, Eve, did that snake? The snake told you to eat the apple. And you took its advice. Come on, man.
Her or Betsy DeVos. One of the two. Just come out at the end like, surprise!
Chris Hardwick, you know him?
Comedian?
Yeah. What was it? At Midnight, he was the host of that. He was, he used to host Single Out, too, way back in the day on MTV. That's a very specific thing you might get. Also, he does podcasts, this and that. I mean, he's kind of like the super nerd that's super cool.
Yes.
Everybody, I'm not into the nerd stuff, but I like Chris Hardwick. He's always pretty funny. So he was on Conan, and he's a little worried about self-driving cars.
I don't think we're ready as a culture for self-driving cars. We have not mastered autocorrect yet. Like, we're not ready. That's a good point. We have not, like, literally for the last 3 weeks, I've been accidentally texting my wife that I want to duck her posse. Like, it's just not... We haven't mastered it. Because Siri is right, like, what, 30% of the time? At best. So are you ready to have that kind of technology when you're in your car? Like, and you're in a speeding metal coffin, you'll be like, Siri, slow down, there's kids ahead. Did you say mow down those kids till they're dead?
Which to his credit, I get a ton of laughs at him mowing. Like, he turned that into a solid joke.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a challenge.
Yeah, the self-driving cars still creep me out. Self-driving anything.
Well, sure, man. It just doesn't feel right.
It doesn't. If somebody doesn't tell you to go to sleep and you go to sleep on your own, are you self-sleeping?
I mean, the difference is eventually you have to.
I just don't understand why if you have a car and you are driving it, drive the car. If you don't want to drive the car, there's Uber, there are trains, there's public transportation, there's all kinds of other things where people
You're like, how much does a
can
self-driving
responsibly
car
hopefully
cost?
get you
I
there.
think, look, I've been in one of these cars. It's just like cruise control to the next level.
Well, sure, but you're still looking out the window, have your hands
but
on
you're
the
still,
wheel.
yeah,
brother.
you should
car.
be,
You're
right.
still in the car. So if
And
you're
after
in
a
the
while,
car,
it says, "Hey, put your hands on the." I was going to say the tail. Put your hands on the tail.
you want
It's
hands
like,
on-
God damn, what is this, the police? Put your hands on the wheel.
But you are right. Like, right. If you're driving the car, you got to pay attention.
And
to
like
the
you
car.
said, Ted, depending, so I don't know, you buy this car, you forget about the outstanding warrant from 93 because you didn't see your PO after you sold a Snickers bar, and this thing just drives your ass straight to the police station.
Yeah, say years ago you got a random ticket in like
Right.
Oregon.
You don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying as far as locking the doors and
That's
knowing
my
who you
fear.
are.
I get in the self-driving car and it takes me to jail.
What have you done that you're worried about getting caught?
You know what I have done?
What?
I've had a bench warrant. I have posted bail.
Right.
Would you go,
So you think that's enough?
So it's just enough
Once
to make
you
me
go
nervous.
in, you don't know if there's something you missed.
Like they're going to call you back. Like, we forgot to
You just don't know.
Oh, it turns out there was one more charge.
Like I said, man, there was a guy I used to work with years ago. This is a true story. And at the restaurant I was at, they closed the whole thing because that day we were feeding, the wife of the then Russian president, I think it was Boris Yeltsin, and Tipper Gore, who at that time was the second lady, right? So she's married to the vice president at the time. Secret Service gets in contact with us about 2 weeks ahead of time to say this is what we're doing. And like anything, no one else is going to be there except these people and their little entourage. But we need the Social Security numbers of all of your employees. That said, if there's any employees that do not want to give it up, they don't have to, but just don't have them work that day. That's simple. Everybody gave their information. Our dishwasher ended up getting arrested, all right? And the Secret Service hated it because they're like, we don't care. Like the guy had stolen something like 15 years ago, but missed one of his meetings with whoever. It was still in the record. He was gone for 18 months. And even the Secret Service, like, man, we got to do it. We feel bad, but they're like, how stupid are you?
Mm-hmm. Self-driving cars.
Self-driving cars. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, all right. I'm sold. I understand. Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. All right, Mike's got your headlines here coming up in just a few minutes. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go to Chicago, where an argument over wieners and tips leads to an employee's arrest. Getting day drunk, stealing golf carts, and crashing it in a golf course is what a Florida man does the best. In Australia, jogging serial pooper caught while perfectly tapering end of vlog. A man who almost died by a decapitated steak is still in a bit of a fog. And we go to Tennessee, where an argument over a honey bun turns deadly. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cock.
All right, our top story. We go to the UK, where a woman was terrorized by a 1-inch spider that was blocking her stairway. She didn't want to be bothered to kill the spider herself, so she thought, quick, grab the phone to call the first person that she could think of. KFC. KFC, as in Kentucky Fried Chicken.
What were they going to do?
She ended up ordering $17 worth of food so the order could be delivered and the driver could come in and kill the spider.
And did he?
He absolutely did.
All right, very nice.
Hey, all right, so she knew the man to do the job, or the woman.
Had no idea who it was.
Yeah, whoever.
Just really asked
whoever delivered before, she thought that's the person to do that.
Please just kill the spider.
She did say that she was a little bit worried and that she hopes that she's worried that her new method of killing these spiders is going to get a little bit expensive.
Yeah, but if you get chicken, I mean, who cares?
I mean, right.
I mean,
She was hungry when she did it.
You're paying for the chicken.
Yeah, she didn't just do it because she wanted the spider dead. She was also pretty hungry.
Also wanted chicken.
Look,
Sure.
if I get an extermination job and chicken, I'm just paying.
I'm calling that company every time.
It's easy. Easy call.
Around the world, we go to Australia, where a serious criminal has been caught with his pants down. A man was fed up with a jogger that pooped on a footpath in his neighborhood roughly 30 times in a single year. The man took it upon himself to wait outside in the dark with a camera and did manage to snap a shot of the serial pooper, complete with a wad of toilet paper in his hand. This guy came prepared.
I mean, dude, if
That's
you're
a
going
good
to
look.
run and you know when you got to do and you know you're regular and all that stuff, you got to figure out a different method of how you
Just not
run
the
your
same
route.
place.
Stop in a public place. I mean, there's ways around that.
The photos were shared and the pooper was charged with public nuisance. I'm guessing just because it was so early in the morning, he didn't care.
You know what, man? It takes a very special person to feel comfortable pooping outdoors in an urban area.
Yeah. I'm just thinking,
sorry,
we
it
pick
does.
up after our dogs. They make bags big enough. Just duke in the bag and walk off.
Yeah. Keep
I
it
think
with you.
it takes a very special a-hole to think your run is fine. It's good enough reason to be pooping around the neighborhood.
Agreed.
Hey, you're human.
Around the neighborhood.
In other news, I have for you my favorite headline of the week. Quote, Wiener Circle employee arrested in dispute over tips.
Are you more interested in the fact that Wiener Circle is, I mean, did you see like how their whole system works?
Yes.
It's impressive.
I talked to VD about it.
Did he say it's awesome?
Well, the thing is that it's in Chicago, so he knows all about this place, and he says it's very different.
Okay.
Patience-
Don't they scream and stuff when you tip? And,
yes.
Oh, yeah, I like
Patience is very thin there as well. You better know what you want when you go to the counter because they will chastise you
They're
there.
working off tips.
They take no prisoners.
Yeah.
So anyway, police were called to the Chicago-based restaurant after it was reported that an employee ripped out a cash register and took the cash drawer because of a dispute over tips. He did return to the restaurant while police were gathering information and turned himself in.
Good times.
Yay.
Need my tips, mother.
Sad news is the fact that the tips matter that much. You just couldn't get a regular, hourly wage.
Yep.
I will say Wiener Circle is good wordplay.
Yeah, the Wiener Circle.
Wiener Circle?
Yeah.
Like a Wiener rodeo.
Let's go to Florida, where a teenager got himself drunk and behind the wheel. Always a fun combination. Like a scene out of Jackass, the kid drove onto a golf course and did donuts on the fairway until he eventually crashed into a sand trap. He was caught by police after the crash and had a blood alcohol level that was twice the legal limit, and did an estimated $8,000 in damage to the golf course.
We all could be dumb and think this is a great idea and want to steal a golf cart, drive it around, have a good time, have fun, do it at night, whatever. He did this in the middle of the day. The golf course was packed. There were golfers on the golf course golfing.
Yes.
He was doing donuts, tearing up the fairways.
In
and
a car.
And then he dumped it into the sand trap.
Good God, man.
Like
Still funny.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't us.
He was arrested and charged with felony criminal mischief. Doggone it. It's time for another episode of Man vs. Beast. The story takes us to Texas, where a couple was out doing yard work when they found themselves face-to-face with a 4-foot rattlesnake. Thinking fast, the man attacked the rattlesnake with a shovel in his hand and managed to decapitate the animal. Score 1 for man. But in a dramatic turn of events, the snake's head reanimated as he was throwing the decapitated corpse into the garbage and actually bit him on the hand. Because there was no body to the snake, the man was injected with all remaining venom inside the snake's glands. He had a bunch of reactions going to the hospital. He's in stable condition. That's it for your headlines with that. Mike Hawk is out.
Mike, thank you. We appreciate it, man. We'll see you next time for the return of Ted versus the FCC. Bad jokes, and we will drink and toast with a shot of the day.
Yes, indeed. It is all true, but in the meantime, we be all about this bitch. So until next time, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.